What is going on, Nuggets Nation NBA fans? My name is Tom Leuthner. Welcome back to another episode of Nuggets Today presented by Fan Arch. Or welcome in if you are new. If you are new, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button as well as comment down below if you guys want me to cover anything in specific or in particular about the Nuggets team or any upcoming games. But the first thing we want to hop into is an update that I'm sure you guys have all seen. That is that Aaron Gordon, I believe, is out anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks now. I believe they said 4 to 6 was the timeline, but extend that a little bit just in case anything does go wrong. So now you're at the point as an organization where you're missing MPJ, you're missing Christian Brown for about at least another 4 weeks for CB, could possibly be another 5 to 6, and AG's in that same time frame. So there are things that you have to look at, right? And this is the worst case scenario for Denver. It really is. As I continue to say, and I will continue to emphasize this point, he's the best player on the Nuggets. That's not Nikola Jokic. He does the most. I know AG, if you're going to say a guy has to be an all-star, it's going to be Jamal. But AG is just doing everything. His chemistry is there with everybody. He works his behind off. I mean, the guy had the highest split jump that we've ever seen, not only in Nuggets history, but close to NBA history. So the guy has been a demon, and he's been working as much as he could to be an actual player for this Denver Nuggets organization. So it sucks to see him go down, especially with the same injury that we saw him come back from this past offseason. He gets hurt in the playoffs, goes down, comes back, has a phenomenal game one for the Nuggets against the Warriors. Unfortunately, the Denver couldn't capitalize on that performance, and they end up losing. But he's having a great season. There's nothing you could really say about it. The guy does everything. And it not only affects Denver in the personnel change, but it also affects them on certain points of the floor. Defensively, now you're in a weird situation. I'll get to that in a second. But you still have people that are there. It's the offensive abilities that AG brings to the table that you can't really replace. You have a guy who can shoot threes at a high clip. He can score at a high clip. He plays great defense. He finishes at the rim. He handles the ball. You're taking away a player who does literally everything for the Denver Nuggets. And like I said, it's the worst case scenario. And right now, the biggest thing for me, and this is just a personal thing, I look at certain assets of the game or certain points of the game, and if you can't rebound, you're going to lose games. And we know that, right? If you give up offensive rebounds, you're going to lose games. AG was the one guy I felt like was really attempting to grab more rebounds than anything else, just because you're losing Michael Porter Jr. with the Cam Johnson trade. And Cam Johnson's not, he's not making up for those MPJ rebounds. MPJ was grabbing 7 to 8 rebounds. I think Cam's at like 3 or 4. So he's not making up and filling in those shoes. And AG was the guy who really went out and got it. And even when CB was in there, CB was getting those hustle boards. And now we're sort of missing both of those. So this is, quite frankly, the worst case scenario for the Denver Nuggets. It's tough to see what they're going to pivot to. And that brings me to my next topic, is just the next man up. Somebody new needs to step up for the Denver Nuggets, whether that be Peyton Watson, who we saw was able to actually do that. He comes off his best performance that he's ever had, his career high, filling in for AG and that CB slot. And if he's able to consistently do that, then we're gonna be fine, right? You're fine. But if he can't, if you're gonna have to throw him into the starting lineup, then you're sort of in a tough spot, right? And I know that Julian Strawther's also missing his time right now, and you need him to come back because I think this is a time that he can really step up. Maybe there's potential for Deron Holmes to step up, but I really do think that the one guy everybody has been looking at so far with the injuries of Cam and AG just missing a few games, or rather CB and AG missing a few games, is Spencer Jones. And I think that he continues to impress. And I don't know if Denver's the management is really looking to find a way to make sure that he's signed for the remainder of the year. But you used a little bit of his eligibility already for a two-way guy, and you're going to have to continue using that eligibility because he was starting last night for the Denver Nuggets. So I would like to see him take that a little bit of a leap, maybe go up to that 6 to 8 point range for Denver. They're going to continue to start him. I would love to see Deron Holmes get 6 to 10 minutes a game, especially with these players missing. Like I said, Julian Strawther needs to come back. I know it's just a back injury, but once he comes back, I think that he'll take a huge role for the Denver Nuggets as well. And he's somebody we haven't seen in a little bit, especially with these circumstances that Denver is in. We haven't seen what he's able to do in the expansion of minutes there We saw what he was able to do in a small sample size. He has a quick release, able to score the ball. But he would have to take in that spot. If they're going to move Tim Hardaway into the starting lineup, or if they're going to put Spencer Jones in that starting lineup and move Tim Hardaway to the bench with P. Watt starting as well, that means that your bench is going to be Bruce Brown, Strother, Tim Hardaway if you're not starting him. And then I guess you're in the position where you got Duran, Zeke, and Jonas Valanciunas, who's been awesome. But who knows? Maybe Denver goes the two big lineup and starts Val and Jokic together, even if it's just for a short amount of time. We've seen the lineup be implemented into the rotation a little bit, and we never saw it before. So I think that DA is struggling to find anything or any rotation that works, just because he's never dealt with this, and the Nuggets never dealt with this, missing two guys this earlier in the season when they're a top team in the Western Conference. So, like I said, I think that the next man needs to step up, whether that be Peyton Watson stepping up again, whether that be Spencer Jones continuing to step up, or maybe Deron Holmes being the guy that I think that every Denver fan thought he could be, and really being a good rookie, a solid rookie for the Denver Nuggets. And hopefully David Adelman plays him. I don't want to see. I don't want to see. I know you got to expand the minutes. I don't want to see Tyson. I don't want to see Pickett. I don't want to see Najee. We know what they are, and they're nothing. They don't contribute, and they're not going to win us games. So I'd rather see if Deron Holmes would be able to be a guy who can come in and really win the Denver Nuggets some games. Now, the next topic I want to move on to is the possibility of Denver making a move, right? I think that there are potential moves that Denver can make, and some of them would be a little bit tougher, but I think that if you go down and you look, and I think that Julian Strother is the main guy to look at in a potential trade. And I was able to talk about some, potential moves. If you package Pickett and Strother together, some players that would make the same amount of money, and really be a legitimate player for the Denver Nuggets. It's a long list, and it depends on the team. But Kevin Porter Jr., Chris Dunn, Devin Carter, D'Angelo Russell, Jet Howard, Paul Reed, Nick Richards, Andre Drummond, Mo Wagner, Devin Carter, Jose Alvarado, Kevin Love, Gary Trent, Svi Mikhailuk, Tristan Da Silva, Torian Prince, Julian Champagnie. All guys who, if you trade Strother and Jalen Pickett, throw in a pick or a second-round pick, you can get one of those players. I know that the whole thing with the Kings, with them potentially selling, Devin Carter would be great, Keon Ellis would be great if you're able to get him. But I thought, Chris Dunn could be a good factor for this team. He's a point guard. He could shoot a little bit here and there, but he's a good defender. And if you're able to bring him in, let him be the backup ball handler, I think they should go with it. If you want to go with a big man, I would love Nick Richards. I would love Drummond. I would even love Kevin Love, just because of the versatility he brings, being able to spread the floor. And you're not asking for this guy who's going to be amazing. You have Valanciunas as your backup big. But I would love another power forward out there. I'm also not opposed to, throwing Bull an offer, but I don't think that is a possibility now. The last thing I want to get into for this episode is Denver going into a matchup later on that they probably should have been able to win easily, right? They're going against the Grizzlies. Not sure the status of John Morant at this time. Ty Jerome is out for a while. I believe he's also out 6 to 8 weeks, which is a little unfortunate to see because he was a very good player for the Cavaliers last year, and you sort of wanted to see a little bit of a challenge, but the Grizzlies aren't great. I know that they have the potential to be. They are also dealing with a lot of injuries, so I think that this should have been an easy win game for Denver, and you come down to the point now where it's not. Like I said, I don't know if Ja's going to be playing, but if Ja is, I think it's going to be a matchup of Ja versus Jamal. And obviously, you're going to have Jokic there, Jaren Jackson, and the other thing, the Grizzlies are missing a lot of their bigs. I know Edie's been in and out. Brandon Clark was done. Jaren's been hurt. Santi's been here, out here and there. So I think that it should have been a game that Denver was supposed to win, and now I'm not really sure. But I do have confidence in this team still, and I'm excited to see actually how these players perform and if a guy like Deron Holmes does get minutes. But that is all I got for you guys today, Nuggets Nation. Like I said, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I'll catch you guys later, and hopefully they can grab a win against the Memphis Grizzlies.